There is a move afoot to make it easier to vote in general elections in Delaware, and the man behind that movement is here with me now, Representative Earl Jacques from the 27th Assembly District in the Glasgow area. And sir, what is the reason for this bill? And first of all, can you explain what the bill is?
Basically, the bill says that it's no excuses. In other words, you can vote by absentee. You don't have to have an excuse. Right now, it requires 6 excuses, one of the 6 excuses, so you can vote absentee. This actually comes out of, I am the chair of the Veterans Affairs Committee, been for a long time. And you know, I go to a lot of military and Veterans Affairs events, and I see names put on concrete walls and on monuments and all that. And I think back the sacrifices that they made over the years. They gave the ultimate sacrifice, many of them, right? And why did they do that? They did that so we could have freedoms. And one of our freedoms is freedom of election. Be able to, anybody may run, you know, all those type of things, and who can vote, you know what I mean? It really makes me sad to see at the end of an election cycle how few people actually vote, you know, less than 50% many of the times, you know? And that makes me sad, because those people who gave the ultimate sacrifice did it for us, and we should honor their sacrifice by voting, you know what I mean? So one of the things that brought this bill about is that there is an obstacle for people to vote, and that is that you have to have one of these 6 excuses. If
you want an absentee ballot, that's
right.
It's not an obstacle to go to the polling place.
No, absolutely not.
And the
but, you know,
the 6 excuses are disability and that you're not in the area. I mean, right. they're legitimate excuses. What do you want to expand it so anybody can do it?
Exactly. But because today's life is crazy, right? You never know that you're going to go out of town on business until maybe the day before. All those type of things. So we wanted to make it so that everybody can vote when, you know, and make it as easy as possible.
Now, the 2 words you probably hear all the time from the other side, you're a Democrat, from the Republicans, is voter fraud.
Yes.
That you're going to make it much easier to cheat.
Okay. And when they bring that up, I ask them to cite the last voter fraud case in Delaware. It's been over 20 years. Over 20 years.
But voter fraud is such a hard thing. If you don't put any obstacles in place, you can't prove voter fraud. You know, in Philadelphia, they have some election districts where over 100% of people vote, but they can't prove fraud except for that number because they don't require identification. And so if you make it so that people without identification can just vote on absentee ballots, someone else can fill out those absentee ballots, can they not?
Well, in state of Delaware, you have to fill an affidavit out first, goes to the Department of Elections, then they send you a ballot. They substantiate your authorization to vote by the affidavit. So we'll know that you're an authorized voter before we ever send you the vote.
Do other states do it this way?
There's many states, 27 states, I think it's 27, that already have no excuse absentee. And so yet, why don't we just join them and make it, you know,
and yet
the
this
right
bill
way.
Isn't a sure thing at all.
Oh no, not at all.
It's failed once before.
It failed last term by 1 vote in the House.
And now because the Republicans have increased their numbers,
yeah,
in the Assembly,
they gained 2 more seats, so now I need 3 votes. So whether I get them, I don't know, but I will be working hard to try to get those 3 votes.
I read an article, and you said one interesting thing is that you talk to people on the other side, and they are philosophically for it, but are still going to vote against it.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, they go back to that voter fraud idea. You know what I mean? They'd like to trump that out anytime that they're against something. But there is really no voter fraud in the state of Delaware.
No proven voter fraud. I mean, I do think that I do think that's an important distinction.
Yes, I'll agree with you there.
Because until you make it a way so you can prove voter fraud, it's an easy, I don't want to call it a crime, but it's an easy thing to commit.
Right, absolutely.
I do know also you are the chairperson in the Assembly of the Veterans Affairs Committee. You're the chairperson of the Education Committee.
Absolutely.
And so because I know especially education in Wilmington is such a big topic, we would love to have you back to talk about that very quickly. The redistricting, are people going to be unhappy?
There'll be some people unhappy and some that'll love it. So
when is that going to happen?
But you know, it's all about the children, and we're going to try to do the right thing for the children. And it's time that we have neighborhood schools throughout Wilmington.
Okay, I look forward to having you back.
Thank you very much for your time.
Good luck with your bill, and I would love to talk to you about education when you come back. So
will do.
Representative Earl Jacques from the 27th District in the Glasgow area of Delaware. That's it for the Delaware Way this week. I'm Larry Menti. Stick around for another thing.